Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Monday, October 26th. This is the last full week of October, and some things are coming out economically that are going to be important as we prepare for the week. One of them is the GDP number. The first reading of the GDP number is very important. And so we'll be looking forward to that and other earnings this week as we prepare for this last week of October. I hope you've gotten out to vote. Early voting, it's what I'm going to do on my way into the office today. So I hope you find time to get your civic duty done also. Hey, hang tight, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey there, 5.7 Light FM. Morning all. I'm glad you're here today. Do appreciate you. Happy Monday. It's 8:39, 21 here before 9. Let's check and see what's likely to happen to your money today on Wall Street, because so far we're in kind of a state of malaise at the moment, would be a good way to put it. Downtown Sebring, we head to the offices of Statler Financial Services, where Phillip Statler is standing by. Phillip, good morning. How was your weekend?
Hey, good morning, Dad. Hey, I had a great weekend. Spent some time with the Tampa kids and just had a good time. Hey, I'm working from home. Well, I'm not working from home. I'm talking to you from home because I'm going to leave here and go vote. So I hope everybody's done their civic duty, or at least planning on when they're going to do it.
Absolutely. I can give you a word to the wise anyway. The voting is going very efficiently. I did it on Saturday afternoon. It was basically in and out in 5 minutes. The poll workers said that it had been busy, but it had been steady down at the Sebring early voting location. It was just slicker than snot to get through real easily. It's a long ballot, so be prepared to look at the ballot. But do your civic duty. And, a whole lot of us are voting early, looking at the numbers Barry's talking about on the news this morning.
That's true. And know what you want to do before you get there would be helpful, Dave.
The ballot propositions, I mean, the way they read on the ballot propositions, hit the web and look at what you're going to do. Just word to the wise people. There's a lot of them out there, and the way they word ballot propositions, it's almost built to confuse you. So knowing what you're planning on doing before you look at the ballot will make life a lot easier for yourself and everybody else. Setting the table, we had kind of a mixed bag on Friday when we closed. Dow was off fractionally. That routine day, down 28 points. NASDAQ got a little bit of green ink, which was kind of a surprise, and the S&P was up by about 12 points. Is there any chance we can get some recovery on NASDAQ this week, Phillip?
I don't know. It's not looking like it today. I mean, we are seeing some heavy red ink this morning.
Yeah, it doesn't look pretty at all, and I was kind of leading into that because the big NASDAQ numbers, the FANG group, Alphabet, Facebook, and all the rest of the big ones are due to report this week. And it's going to be a mess of a week for them because even if they make a run and ton of money, Google's pretty much got to say something about that pending antitrust suit. Facebook has been throwing shots across the bow saying, we're not going to accept any advertising after the election that calls the validity of the election into doubt. Well, gosh, thanks, Mark. And the rest of the social networking crowd is also getting some grief. It's going to be an interesting week to listen to what they say on guidance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And what about that thing called free speech, right? So it is going to be interesting to see, what it looks like heading into the election. What do their earnings look like? And then what do they say about the current quarter, if they say anything at all?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. In broadcast, we tend to break out political revenue from routine revenue. As a rule, the social networking companies don't do that. That might very well be an interesting thing if one of them does decide to do that this quarter.
It could. You're right. And that would be reflective, obviously, next year, right, when revenue, you start comparing year-over-year revenue, and that political advertising is got to be a big push in any venue.
Well, that's kind of one of the rations. Number one, I think from a public policy standpoint, it'd be interesting to hear. But also, if I were Zuckerberg, I'd probably want to break out political revenue just so I'm not held to that standard necessarily next year, so that my growth rate ends up looking even better if I pulled it out. So both from a public policy standpoint and from just to cover my butt level on the reporting, it'd be kind of an interesting number to have pulled out.
Yeah, you're right. And I agree. I think that is important to distinguish between the numbers.
Absolutely. Other tidbits that are coming out to start your week out, the Chicago Federal Reserve Bank put out their National Business Index. They bill this as national, by the way. And as we've said before, these numbers coming out of the Fed districts, they're all created using different formulas. So the absolute number doesn't matter, but the growth or the shrinkage does. Last month, the Chicago Fed index was 1.11. This morning's report from September showed it all the way down to 0.27. And some of that, given the fact that it's out of Chicago, has to be weighted toward the Midwest, where they've got a world of hurt going on with the COVID-19 thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, let's face it, that's a pretty big drop from them. And we've seen pretty much most of those type of numbers coming out of the Feds are declining from where they were the last time we got that number. So that's kind of indicative of kind of what we're seeing in the economy as kind of just a slowdown of what we're seeing.
Yeah, and a lot of it is that second wave we're seeing. The Midwest is absolutely scary. The nation's figures over the weekend set 2 consecutive new records for new cases of the COVID-19. If anybody thought we were done with this bug, they might want to check the national figures and think twice, wouldn't you think?
Well, definitely, but I think there is a little bit of good news on that front. AstraZeneca, there was something kind of put out there that they obviously they're back to retesting again, but that they are seeing some good results, especially in older folks, that the response has been really good. So hopefully that will continue, and that will be positive news for a vaccine end of the year or first of next year, maybe.
Absolutely. If the at-risk population on the elders side does well off of the stuff, that's good. Is that the one they had to stop trials on down in Brazil, or was that the other one?
I think it was. This is the Oxford over in England, the Oxford study that AstraZeneca is going to be the manufacturer. Okay,
I got you. The other tidbit that's affecting the marketplace is Wall Street basically has now finally said that the Senate's going to be busy confirming soon-to-be Justice Barrett, and they aren't even going to think about any stimulus effort. So now they're pretty much pricing in expectation of a stimulus plan of some sort coming out of Congress after November 3rd and the election's over. And I'm kind of wondering whether with a bunch of lame dunk congressmen and senators, maybe a lame duck president, whether anything will get done at all after November 3rd.
Well, that's true. You're right. Will anything get done? If so, what will it look like? And then I've been digging down this weekend, just looking at some different stuff. And one of the things that kind of throws you there is that a lot of Wall Street's looking for a blue wave to come through. And they're looking at that as like good news for Wall Street, because that would align all three of our areas of politicians, right? The House, the Senate, and the White House. And they think that that'll just keep stimulus rolling and rolling and rolling, which is going to put money into the system, which is going to give people money to spend, which is going to raise the economy. So interesting perspective, anyway, that I kind of read an article on.
It is. It may not be the way they'd necessarily vote, but their money may have a completely different opinion than their necessary vote, right?
That's right. And one of the reasons that I'm hearing that the market is on a tank today, not just because of the rise in COVID, but because that blue wave, the chances of that, the odds of that actually happening now have dropped to 50%, and they have been substantially higher than that. So I found that interesting. It's just a neat article to read and just look at some different perspectives.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had some confirmation on that, too. One of the columnists I read said the market at this point in time has already priced in a Biden win in the presidency, and now the question is whether or not the Senate could conceivably go blue. And as you say, that the odds of that keep swinging back and forth depending upon how the individual polls go. Needs to be mentioned that, again, money not having a political conscience, by and large, under a Democratic presidency, the indexes tend to do better than they do during a Republican presidency over 100-odd years of history. So from a money standpoint, money's kind of neutral and politics be darned, we'll probably do all right regardless of who wins.
Well, that's right. After the uncertainty settles and there's a plan in place, there's always that initial uncertainty of what's going to happen with whoever gets in the White House, and so that typically will drive the markets down for a little while. And the other part of that is whether it's contested or non-contested, right? If we have a contested election, historically we're going to see a 5% to 7% drop in the index.
Oh yeah, we're arguing about who won for 2 weeks afterwards. Expected tanking, right?
Absolutely. I mean, no doubt.
that will do it. Yeah, I've always seen change of administrations being a little bit like a major shift in interest rates from the standpoint of money. There's a shift as to which stocks you buy, but somebody does well no matter which way the political winds blow.
You're right. Absolutely. Hey, I want to talk about a couple companies, and then I have another interesting article I read that I think is important that people understand. Let's talk about Hasbro. We talked about Mattel last week.
Yeah.
And Hasbro reported, and guess what? They beat the market too. They came in at $1.88 a share. They were expected to make about $1.63. Revenue was ahead of expectations also. Now, probably not the same end result because they're actually trading down this morning, 3.25%. But that's not just because the markets are tanking this morning, but it's more in line with an internal miss, right? Their sales for TV, film, and entertainment division fell short of what the estimates were, and so that is putting some pressure on the stock this morning.
I was going to say, one of my rules of thumb just about went out the window there for a second, that when Mattel's up, Hasbro's down and vice versa.
Well, yeah, from a stock perspective, that's definitely true today, but from an earnings standpoint, not quite the case. Hey, the other one I want to talk about a little bit is Dunkin' Donuts, right? Dunkin' Brands. So they're trading up substantially this morning because they're in talks to be acquired by a company called Inspire Brands. Now, you and I don't probably recognize that name, but they are the owners of Arby's and Jimmy John's. And so they are expected to get acquired for $106.50 a share, which is 20% above the closing price on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm having all kinds of ideas with what merged companies. If Arby's buys Dunkin' Donuts would be, the slogans. We've got powdered sugar. Too many opportunities for a limited time frame here to have fun. Setting the table this morning, as we said, mixed day on Friday. The Dow was down. The other two Nasdaq and S&P, up fractionally. 45 minutes before we opened this morning, after some kind of crummy health news over the weekend and some weirdness on the other fronts. Where are we going so far this morning, Phillip?
We're falling, Dave. So everything is pretty much red across the board. We've got the Dow down about a little over 1.1%. We've got the S&P 500 down almost 1.1%, and we've got the Nasdaq down about 0.9%. So everything is red, not just slightly, but definitely red. On the other side of the coin, we have silver down 1.5%. We got gold down 0.1%, and crude oil is definitely not where you and I like it to be. It's down 2.8% this morning to $38.72 a barrel.
I darn near dropped my false teeth on that one. Is that expectations of demand, or did I miss a report over the weekend?
One of the things I heard over the weekend was, less people driving again, because I guess the numbers are going up. I don't know, but I think demand is the issue.
Okay, demand expectations. Goody. Mixed bag in the Asian rim at the close early this morning. Europe is in red ink. Germany responding to our news resoundingly. They're down by 2.5% halfway through their trading day. Phillip, we were talking about it. Depending upon what happens politically, things go up, things go down, but there's always a way to make money. And more importantly, there's always a way to ensure that you don't lose money. That's where you come in. How do I get a hold of you to stabilize my retirement fund?
Absolutely, Dave. Give us a call at 863-382-1037. 0037. Remember, the one thing that we can control is risk in our portfolio. And don't wait too long to find out how much risk you're looking to get away from. Give me a call at 863-382-0037 for our financial x-ray. You can go to our website, statlerfinancial.com, where there's a link that you can schedule a visit. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 730.
All righty, and back here again tomorrow morning. You're going to be talking to Scott tomorrow morning. I'm taking a mental health day tomorrow.
All right, man. Well, I'll have plenty of stuff to talk about tomorrow.
I'm getting fitted for cataracts, too. I might actually be able to read my computer screen within a week or so and participate more. Thank you, my friend. I'll catch you on Wednesday, all right?
All right, man. Have a great day.
Thank you. Be well. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler. Wait.
So, folks, hey, as Dave said, it'd just be you and me and Scotty tomorrow, which means it's mostly me. So, hey, I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today. Hope your week is off to a great start, and I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow.